welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how I do my brows. I do them with two different techniques. They end up looking a little bit similar, like this is with brow pencil on this side and this side is with a brow pomade. And I also show you how I clean my brows because I've been growing them out for this video for a while now. And I'll just be leaving a little bit of tips and tricks that I picked up over the years to how I transformed my brows. So please keep watching and I hope you enjoy. I'm going to start off by grooming my brows, and to begin with that I always use a spoolie and I just brush out my brows up and then towards the direction that they grow out. And then before I pluck the outgrowth I have on both sides, I like to trim my lashes. Oh my god, please don't ever trim your lashes. I like to trim my brows first. So how I do that is I take the spoolie and then I take a pair of scissors for trimming and I brush upwards, and then I just place the end of the scissor right where I want to cut it and just trim it like that so it creates like a really clean line. I usually pluck the areas around my brow like maybe once every 2 weeks because they grow out pretty fast, or if I notice that it's like growing out really fast and then I'm too lazy to pluck it out, I take a facial razor and I just kind of like shave around the brow area, and then I kind of just go back and forth a few times in case I might have like missed a hair or two. For the tail, I don't usually trim too much off because I notice that when I do the ends over here, they end up looking really sparse. So I try to avoid doing too much on my ends. And I did the rest of my face first, so I could like have makeup on while I do this video, but I applied foundation on my forehead. I just haven't set it yet, so I could apply concealer over it after. So once I get the shape that I want my brows to look like, I'm pretty much satisfied. Like, I overplucked last time over here, so there's like an empty gap. And then I'm just gonna trim the other brow, and then I'll come back and show you how I usually pluck the hairs around it. So to pluck the area around my brow, I usually go underneath the brow bone first and get all the area around the lid space here. Well, my brow bone. And then here first before I go to the top, because once I get like the cleaner line down here, I can know how much I want to pluck up top. So I'm just going very carefully. So whenever you pluck hairs from your body, you want to pull it straight out from the direction that they're growing out of. That causes the least amount of pain. And then when you pluck it, just try not to like pinch your skin too, because it does hurt quite a lot. I have like some hairs that are kind of short which I can't get, so those I'm going to leave. When I get to underneath my brows, my brows aren't even to begin with, so it doesn't really bother me most of the time. I just try to like get it even, so then you can see that there's like a hair or two that is coming down too far, and I just pluck those out. Another reason why you want to just pull it straight out in the direction it's growing from is because you don't want to break the hair halfway through, because it kind of defeats the purpose of plucking your brows to begin with. And to like separate the hairs out from, instead of like grabbing on a bunch, I like to press the flat end of the tweezer against my brow bone and then just slide it underneath the hair that I'm trying to grab. And then that way I can just like grab it real easily. So now that I have the bottom pretty much cleaned out the way I want it to, it's right here, I'm just going to go ahead and start getting the top area. First I'm going to clean up the area that's further away from my brows themselves, because like I get hair growth around this area too, and it's kind of annoying. So I'm going to pluck those out first, and then because I already trimmed my brow, I already got the shape that I want it to be in. I'm just going to clean up the areas that are just right above the brow area. Make sure you have a very sharp I was like, what are these called? Make sure that your tweezers are sharp too before you start plucking, because if you're continuously trying to pluck the same hair over and over again because your tweezers aren't sharp, it's gonna make the area a little bit irritated, which is why I have this little red mark over here. And it's really easy to sharpen your tweezers. I know tweezermen, you could just send your tweezers back and they'll sharpen it for you for free of charge, though that takes about like a whole month to process. So personally, I just get a knife sharpener. You could get those at the dollar store, and then you just sharpen it. It makes it a lot easier. It's like a brand new pair of tweezers too. So after you have your brows groomed and everything, I'm going to show you the 2 methods that I use to fill my brows. I actually use 3 different methods depending on how I feel. Just this one method is like so easy, so simple and so hard. I don't really have to show you. I just used Benefit's Grooming My Brow. I just swipe it all over my brows and I'm pretty much good to go. But the first method I'm going to show you is more of my like everyday brow, where I just fill in with like a brow pencil, brow crayon, and then I put brow gel over it. And then the second way I'm going to show you is more like a bolder brow look, where I use like pomade to it, and it's more like those Instagram brow trends. So I'm going to start off with the first brow technique. And the products that I use for this brow technique is my Goof Proof brow pencil from Benefit, as well as the brow gel, and then sometimes I put a little bit of Gimme Brow over it too to make it look a little bit more fuller. So before I do my brows, I always spoolie them. I know I didn't really go in depth with like brow shape. I just follow my natural brow shape. I know some people prefer like a straighter brow look or like a more arched look. It really just depends on how your face is shaped, because your brows do frame your face. So I can't really go in depth with it because I don't know how everybody's faces is. But for me, I just felt like my natural brow shape fit me the best, so I just left it like that. So the tip of the Goof Proof brow pencil is like a hexagon. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pentagon. So I normally take the sharper tip first, and I just draw a line underneath my brow for where I want my brow to start. And then using that tip, I go ahead and start drawing in my tail. And then the top part of my brow here. I don't usually fill in the top for the like a quarter of my brow, the very head of my brow, because I just like to have a natural gradient where my hair starts to fade in. So once I got my tail drawn, I just flip the pencil around and fill it in with the chubbier side. And then when I get to the very front of my brows, I start just gradually brushing upwards with it. And then because I have more product at the bottom, I use a spoolie and I comb that upwards. And to get like a sharper tail, I use concealer to clean it up afterwards. So after I filled that in with my Goof Proof pencil, I go in with Gimme Brow and I just kind of gently brush it into my brows to give it a fuller look. And then I use Ready Set Brow from Benefit to just set my brows. So this side is my more natural everyday brow. And then I'm going to do the other brow on this side, and then probably clean one of them off and then just like refill my brow so it's even before I go out. And the brow product I'm using today is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Pomade in Ash Brown. I find Ash Brown is more like a universal color because it's like a cool tone brown unless you have really warm hair, but even though the ends of my hair is really warm, I find that because my roots are a bit more dark and more cool, it matches me pretty well. So I'm going to start off by, again, applying it the same method that I did on this side, where I just draw like the line for the bottom of my brows first to shape it and then fill in the tail. I generally rest my pinky on top of my cheekbone to give it more like, to make my hands more stable, so I get like a sharper line. So I start off by drawing the shape that I want for the bottom of my brow to give it like a stencil. And then I fill in, or I shape out my tail. And then when I get to the very front of my brow, I just take the brush and whatever product is left on my brush and I brush it upwards. And then for concealer to clean up my brows, the brush I use, it's not branded. It's actually from like an arts and crafts store. It's like a very flat, like super duper flat brush with a slightly tapered triangular tip. So the tip is really sharp. And I'm just going to use my concealer. The concealer that I'm going to be using is Milani's Retouch and Erase Light Lifting Concealer in the shade 02. And I like to clean the bottom first so I could get like the line that I want it to be. Super duper straight. Okay. And then I'm just going to highlight my brow bone to finish it off. I'm using a fluffy shader brush. And the highlight I used today was Anastasia Beverly Hills Starlight Illuminator. Should press that onto the brow bone underneath my brows. And yeah, that's essentially how I groom and fill in my brows. I hope this tutorial helped you pick up a tip or two to make your brow routine a little bit easier. Please leave a like and a comment down below, and remember to subscribe to my channel. You can also check out my Instagram as well as my Snapchat. Let me know if you want to see any tutorials in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye!